Welcome to Ancient Chronicles AI. Here, we cross the line between what is known and what is denied, stepping into the ancient war of the gods in Mesopotamia. Chapter 1. The birth of the first gods, before time had a name. Only the endless waters of chaos stretched across the void. From the swirling depths rose the first stirrings of consciousness, ancient and vast. Apsu, the freshwater abyss, emerged as a calm and steady presence within the primordial sea. Tiamat, the saltwater deep, rose beside him in a storm of swirling darkness and radiant power. Their union sparked the first pulse of creation, a rhythm that echoed through the formless expanse. From their mingling waters came the earliest gods, luminous beings born from chaos and possibility. The heavens unfolded above them like a newborn canopy of shimmering potential. The earth took shape beneath them, rising from the deep as a cradle for future realms. Light and shadow separated for the first time, forming the boundaries of existence. The first gods looked upon the emerging cosmos with wonder, sensing the destiny that awaited them. Their presence brought order to the swirling void, anchoring creation with divine intention. And thus began the age of the primordial deities, whose breath shaped the earliest heavens and earth. In the beginning, the waters of chaos give rise to Apsu, Tiamat, and the first gods, whose emergence brings order, light, and form to the newborn cosmos. Their awakening marks the dawn of creation and the foundation of the ancient Mesopotamian divine world. Chapter 2. The rebellion of the younger gods. The younger gods grew restless as the new heavens expanded. Sensing power within themselves, they rivaled the ancient ones. Their voices rose like storm winds, questioning the authority of Apsu and the dominion of the primordial order. Whispers of defiance spread through the divine halls, carried by gods who hungered for freedom and change. Apsu felt the tremors of rebellion and sought to silence the younger generation before their strength grew too great. Tiamat, torn between loyalty and love, watched the rising tension with a heart divided by ancient duty. The younger gods gathered in secret, forging alliances and plotting a future shaped by their own will. Their leader spoke with fire in his voice, declaring that the old order had grown stagnant and blind. The heavens darkened as the first sparks of conflict ignited between the generations. Apsu prepared to strike, believing destruction was the only path to restore balance. But the younger gods moved first, unleashing a force that shattered the peace of the primordial age. The rebellion erupted like a cosmic storm, marking the beginning of the first divine war. And in that moment, the fate of the gods and the shape of creation shifted forever. The younger gods rise against Apsu and the ancient order, driven by ambition and the desire for change. Their rebellion ignites the first celestial conflict, fracturing the primordial age and setting the stage for the great war that will reshape the cosmos. Chapter 3. The rise of Marduk. From the turmoil of the celestial rebellion, a new power stirred in the divine realm. Marduk emerged with a brilliance that outshone the younger gods and challenged the remnants of the old order. His voice carried the authority of thunder, and his presence bent the winds and stars to his will. The gods watched in awe as he mastered forces that had once belonged only to the primordial beings. He forged weapons of unimaginable power, each one infused with the breath of creation itself. Whispers spread through the heavens that Marduk was destined to confront the ancient forces rising once more. Tiamat's fury echoed across the cosmos, awakening storms that threatened to unravel the new age. The younger gods turned to Marduk, sensing in him the strength to face the chaos they had unleashed. He accepted their call not out of ambition, but out of a fierce resolve to protect the emerging order. The heavens trembled as he prepared for a confrontation that would decide the fate of gods and worlds alike. Marduk rose as the champion of the new age, a divine warrior shaped by destiny and fire. And in his ascent, the balance of the cosmos shifted toward a battle that would echo through eternity. Marduk rises from the turmoil of the divine rebellion as a radiant, commanding force destined to confront the ancient powers. His mastery of cosmic weapons, and unwavering resolve mark him as the champion of the new age, preparing the heavens for the coming war. Chapter 4. The War Against Tiamat. The heavens trembled as Tiamat awakened from the depths, her fury shaking the pillars of creation. Her body rose like a living storm, a cosmic dragon whose scales shimmered with the chaos of the primordial sea. She summoned an army of monstrous beings, each one forged from the raw terror of the ancient abyss. The younger gods watched in dread as the sky darkened beneath the shadow of her wrath. Tiamat's roar split the heavens, declaring vengeance upon those who had defied the old order. Her legions surged forward, creatures of fang, flame, and swirling darkness, born from her boundless rage. The rebellious gods gathered their forces, knowing that the fate of the cosmos hung in the balance. Marduk stepped forth as their champion, wielding weapons crafted from the breath of creation itself. The clash between the divine armies erupted like the breaking of worlds, shaking the fabric of existence. Lightning tore through the sky as celestial weapons collided with the monstrous hordes of the deep. The war raged across the heavens, each battle reshaping stars, realms, and the very laws of reality. And at the center of it all, Tiamat loomed like an ancient nightmare reborn, determined to reclaim the cosmos. Tiamat awakens in cosmic fury and leads an army of monstrous beings against the rebellious gods, plunging the heavens into a war that shakes creation. Marduk rises as the champion of the younger gods, facing the primordial dragon in a conflict that will determine the fate of the universe. Chapter 5. The Shattering of the Skies. The war between the gods reached its breaking point as the heavens groaned beneath the weight of their fury. Marduk's celestial weapons blazed with the fire of creation, cutting through the darkness like newborn stars. Tiamat's monstrous legions surged upward, their roar shaking constellations from their ancient paths. The sky split open as divine forces collided, sending shockwaves rippling across the fabric of reality. Mountains of cloud and light crumbled under the force of cosmic blows exchanged between gods and beasts. The constellations twisted into new shapes, reshaped by the violence of the celestial conflict. Rivers of starlight poured across the heavens, forming rifts that exposed the raw chaos beneath creation. Marduk unleashed storms that tore through Tiamat's armies, scattering them like shadows before dawn. Tiamat answered with a roar that shattered the horizon, summoning waves of primordial darkness. The heavens flickered between order and chaos, each moment threatening to unmake the world entirely. Every strike, every cry, every surge of power rewrote the destiny of the cosmos in real time. And as the skies shattered, the gods realized that creation itself hung on the edge of annihilation. The heavens break apart as Marduk and Tiamat's forces clash, reshaping constellations, tearing open rifts of chaos, and rewriting the structure of creation. The cosmic war reaches a point where every blow threatens to unmake the universe itself. Chapter 6. The Fall of the Old Order. The final clash between Marduk and Tiamat sent a tremor through the cosmos that marked the beginning of the end. The primordial gods who once shaped the first dawn felt their power wane beneath the rising force of the new age. Marduk's victory echoed across the heavens, unraveling the ancient bonds that had held the old order in place. Tiamat's monstrous legions dissolved into the abyss, their forms returning to the chaos from which they were born. The surviving primordial deities fled into hidden realms, carrying their wounded pride into eternal exile. Apsu's remnants sank into the deep, leaving behind only whispers of the age when he ruled the waters of creation. The younger gods stood triumphant, though the weight of their victory pressed heavily upon their spirits. The skies reshaped themselves in the aftermath, forming new constellations that honored the fallen and the victorious. Marduk claimed his place as the sovereign of the heavens, his authority sealed by the defeat of the ancient powers. The primordial age faded like a dying star, its echoes lingering only in myth and memory. The cosmos settled into a new rhythm, guided by laws forged in the fires of divine conflict. And thus the old order fell, giving way to a world forever changed by the war of gods. The ancient gods fall as Marduk's victory ends the primordial age, casting the old deities into exile and reshaping the heavens. The cosmos settles into a new order, forever marked by the divine war that shattered the first era of creation. Chapter 7. The forging of the new world in the silence that followed the fall of the old order. The heavens waited for the touch of renewal. Marduk stood at the center of creation, his victory granting him the authority to reshape the cosmos. He gathered the victorious gods around him, each one carrying the remnants of power forged in war. Together they surveyed the shattered skies, seeing not ruin, but the raw material of a new age. Marduk stretched out his hand, and the broken constellations bent to his will like molten gold. He carved new pathways through the heavens, forming celestial roads that would guide the cycles of time. The gods descended to the earth, raising mountains, carving rivers, and breathing life into barren lands. From the remnants of Tonat's vast body, Marduk fashioned the foundations of the world itself. He established laws that bound chaos, ensuring no primordial force could rise unchecked again. The winds, the seas, the stars, and the seasons were given guardians to maintain balance. Harmony spread across creation as the divine order took root, stabilizing the realms above and below. And in the forging of the new world, the gods sealed a covenant that would shape the destiny of all living things. Marduk and the victorious gods rebuild the shattered heavens and earth, crafting new laws, new realms, and new cosmic order from the remnants of the primordial age. Their work establishes the foundations of creation and ensures that chaos can never again rise unchallenged. Chapter 8. The creation of humanity when the new world settled into harmony. The gods turned their gaze toward the empty lands below. Marduk declared that creation required a being who could remember both the triumph and the cost of the celestial war. The gods gathered the remnants of divine essence left behind from the fallen primordial beings. From the blood of a defeated god, they drew the spark of consciousness that would ignite mortal life. Clay from the newborn earth was shaped into a vessel capable of carrying both fragility and greatness. The divine remnants fused with the clay, forming a creature bound to the legacy of the cosmic conflict. Humanity opened its eyes beneath the watchful gaze of the gods, unaware of the power woven into its soul. The winds whispered ancient memories into the first breath of humankind. The seas carried echoes of Tiamat's roar, reminding mortals of the chaos that once ruled the deep. The stars shone with the order Marduk had forged, guiding humanity toward destiny and purpose. The gods blessed their creation with curiosity, resilience, and the burden of choice. And thus humanity was born part divine, part dust, forever tied to the war that shaped the world. The gods fashioned humanity from divine remnants and earthly clay, infusing mortals with the memory and legacy of the celestial war. Born from both chaos and order, humankind becomes the living bridge between the fallen primordial age and the new world forged by the victorious gods. Chapter 9. The silent return of the exiled gods. Long after the celestial war faded into myth, the echoes of the fallen gods lingered in the hidden corners of creation. Whispers drifted through the realms, carried by winds that remembered the voices of the exiled deities. Mortals felt strange tremors in their dreams, sensing presences older than the world itself. The younger gods grew uneasy as forgotten energies stirred beneath mountains, oceans, and shadowed realms. In the deep places where light had never reached, the ancient gods opened their eyes once more. Their exile had not broken them. It had only sharpened their hunger to reclaim what was lost. Tiamat's remnants pulsed faintly in the abyss, calling to those who still worshipped the primordial chaos. Apsu's essence seeped through the cracks of the underworld, whispering promises of a restored dominion. The boundaries Marduk forged began to tremble as the old powers tested the strength of the new order. Prophets awoke with visions of returning titans, their warnings dismissed as madness by the unprepared. The heavens dimmed for a moment, as if remembering the age when the primordial gods ruled unchallenged. And in the silence between worlds, the exiled deities waited for the moment when destiny would open the door again. The defeated primordial gods stir in hidden realms, their ancient power awakening after ages of exile. Whispers spread across creation as the old deities test the boundaries of the new order, waiting for the moment when they can rise again and reclaim the cosmos. Chapter 10. The eternal echo of the war, ages past, yet the memory of the celestial war lingered like a hidden pulse beneath the world. Kings rose to power, guided by dreams shaped by gods they no longer remembered. Empires expanded and crumbled under the weight of destinies forged in the aftermath of divine conflict. Priests whispered fragments of forgotten myths, unaware they were echoes of battles fought before time. The blood of humanity carried the remnants of the primordial struggle, stirring in moments of great upheaval. Storms, omens, and visions reminded mortals that the ancient gods had never truly vanished. Marduk's order shaped the laws of nations, even when his name faded into dust. Tiamat's shadow lingered in the chaos of wars, rebellions, and the restless hunger of empires. Prophets felt the tremors of old powers awakening, though their warnings were dismissed as superstition. The heavens watched silently as humanity repeated patterns born from the first divine rebellion. Every triumph, every downfall, every turning of an age carried the imprint of the ancient war. And so the conflict of the gods lived on, not in the skies, but in the hearts and destinies of all who walked the earth. The ancient war continues to shape the world long after the gods have faded from mortal memory. Kings, empires, and entire ages rise and fall under the lingering influence of the primordial conflict, proving that the echoes of the divine struggle still guide the fate of humanity. If you enjoyed this journey into the unknown, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell so you never miss what comes next. Until then, stay curious, stay aware, and keep searching the shadows. Take care.